Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to today's video and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Kira and I am obsessed with all things beauty. I have a lot of lights on me because I got a new mirror for my birthday yesterday, which is awesome. It's actually Easter, so I am gonna have to film like my Easter makeup tutorial. But I wanted to do this video first and relax a little bit in this makeup and then go to my Easter makeup. So let's get into it. So this is a makeup and mystery, and today we're covering a mystery, I guess you could say, because we are talking about the story behind Dracula. So I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with Dracula. He's pretty famous. But I didn't know that Dracula was actually based on a real person. And the story behind the real Dracula is actually like really crazy, and it's got a lot of like intricate disgusting details that I don't really want to get into in this video, so we're kind of just gonna skim over that. Let's just say that the real Dracula was not a good person. So the story behind Dracula is actually based on the real life person known as Vlad, who was actually named after a man named Dracula. Like, that was his father. So it's kind of crazy. Like, I think that because his father's name was Dracula, he kind of got the name Dracula from it because they're kind of like really similar. And remember, like, Dracula's son's name was Alucard, which is supposed to be Dracula's name backwards. I don't know if people really know this, but there is a show, it's an anime on Netflix called Castlevania, and that is honestly my favorite story of Dracula. It's a really good anime. I used to watch it all the time before Brandon and I had kids. So I would watch it a lot. I would watch Netflix a lot when Brandon was at work. So that's where that comes from. I'm gonna do a blue look today, I think. I just want to play with color. I've been watching a lot of Angelica Nyquist, and she's very colorful. Like, has a lot, like, she would be my go-to person for if you want to learn how to work with color. The look she did with the Candy Skies palette makes me want this Candy Sky palette, but it's like sold out. So there goes that sadness in my heart. And of course I'm always decluttering products from my collection. Like I said, doing a very blue, colorful look today. I have Mickey Mouse playing in the background, and Kai is literally out there. Because, like, it's Easter, so my parents are both off, so Kai is having the time of his life with his grandparents because he's like, I have both grandparents. What the hell? Because usually he's, like, used to my dad being home. So, like, the first person that he goes to is my dad. Like, I had to get up and take care of Jackson this morning. I had to see Kai get his chair. Remember, we got him like a little Mickey Mouse chair for Easter. So he has his own chair, which is super exciting and cute, and I'm so happy, and he seems to like it. He's crawling in it, like, he's acting like a big boy now. Breaks my heart. So, anyways, let's get back to this story. This pigment, I love Wet n Wild pigments, but this pigment is just not living up to my standards of what I like my pigments to look like. So, this pigment might have to go. might not be in my collection much longer. Honestly, I think I am gonna get rid of it. Hi. What are you doing? What are you doing? Yeah. So, like I said, the story of Vlad the Impaler is basically, like they say, he was the one that roughly is the story that Dracula is based off of, is Vlad the Impaler. And he is not a good person at all. He something like impaled something like 500 people. And the story of Dracula came from this story that Vlad apparently had he would impale his victims, because at the time it wasn't victims, they were like all at war, so I guess like they looked at it differently, because it was a time of like kill or be killed. Like, this is like really old times, so there is that. And not to mention, the way he would impale them, sometimes they would die like very slow, painful deaths. So, because his victims were dying like slow and painful deaths, the story goes that Vlad would actually sit in front of the impaled victims and have dinner while he watched them die. So, he's like really sadistic. And like I said, because Vlad the Impaler's father was named Dracula, I think that that's kind of like where the name Dracula kind of comes from for Vlad, because I think that the stories are quite similar in the sense of they both kind of happen in like Transylvania. I mean, apparently Transylvania is like really well known for Dracula, like the story of Dracula and the story of Vlad the Impaler. And like they have like kind of like a tourism type thing set up for it, which is crazy. So that is basically the sadistic story of Vlad the Impaler. So like I said, it is said that the story of Dracula is actually based off of Vlad the Impaler. Sorry, I just heard my dad say something. But anyways, so I don't want to actually cover all of the things that Vlad the Impaler did, just because they're very intricate, and his story and history is honestly a very violent one, and I don't really want to cover that all completely here on my channel. I just kind of wanted to cover the fact that Dracula, this mythological vampire creature, is supposedly based off of Vlad the Impaler, and the similarities and why they think that Dracula was based off of Vlad the Impaler. And apparently Vlad also had like these like really intricate castles, and he was like really well known for paranoia, and he thought people were out to get him, which at that time they were. So when he built his castle, he did these like moats, and they had like these like 3 layers of like spikes and stuff to get through. So it made it like really hard to get to him, because like I said, he was like well known for paranoia, because at the time that he lived in, he kind of should have been, because he was like really evil when you think about it, like really evil. I mean, impaling people and watching them die is a special kind of sadism, honestly. So basically, all in all, that's the story of Vlad the Impaler. That's the PG rated version, I guess, where I'm not showing pictures and I'm not showing really anything going into detail of all the things that he did. But I just find it intriguing that this story of Dracula could very, very loosely be based off of Vlad the Impaler, and that Dracula's name pretty much comes from Dracula, who is Vlad's father. So I think that that is like really cool, honestly, but at the same time really scary when you think about like the world that people like that we live in. Like people actually lived in this time and lived in this world. So I don't know, like it was a different time, so you can't like fault him, but I think that he definitely had like some type of like mental illness. I mean, his father was murdered when he was younger. So I guess like that is something that you could kind of fault to him being the way he was. I've got to be honest, I don't really like this makeup, and I think it stems from the pigment because it's just not like where I want it to be, and I even use my fingers, which helps you get like the most pigmentation. So I know it's not the Jeffree Star palette because I know Jeffree's formula and I love Jeffree's formula. No, it's the pigment. So that is the ultimate reason why this pigment is probably getting decluttered today. I love getting rid of products or using them up. Like anything that gets rid of them, whether it involves like using them up or getting rid of them or something like that, like it's amazing. It's like a great feeling since I started decluttering. Like I said, I actually have to film my Easter makeup today, so I'm gonna post that today. Probably should have did a red look because of like Vlad the Impaler was like bloody and stuff like that, but it's a little too gory for me. It's Kai's second Easter also, which is so crazy. Like you forget about time. Like time goes by so fast when you're a mom and you're watching your kids grow up. It goes by so fast. I hate this look. I hate this eye look. Don't repeat it. I hate this eye look. I mean, like the crease and brow bone is fine, but the lid color, I hate. And I really want to know what you guys think about the story of Vlad the Impaler and the story of Dracula. Where did you guys first hear of Dracula? Because for me, I can't really remember where I first heard of Dracula. It's just something like we always knew. Like we didn't watch any Dracula movies. So if you're curious about where Dracula actually came from, the story was written by a man named Bram Stoker, I think is his name. And most historians do believe that he was inspired by the story of Vlad the Impaler to write the story of Dracula. And another fun fact is that Dracula, who was Vlad's father, his like name like roughly translated to like son of the devil, pretty much. So Vlad the Impaler was literally like son of the devil. And I mean, like, how ironic. Like I said, like, Vlad was actually really well known apparently for being like very paranoid, and he should have been, because there were a lot of people back then that wanted to kill him. So, you are never this lovey-dovey. What is going on with you? Like, all in all, I think that the story is interesting. I like Dracula, I think, a little bit better when you kind of think about the fact that it, like, when you think about it and you don't think it's based on a true story because vampires like don't exist and stuff like that. I think that the story is actually better. But then when you find out the story about Dracula and the man behind Dracula, which was Vlad the Impaler, and all the horrible things he did, it kind of like just takes like it away, I guess. At least for me personally, it did. I don't know why he's crying. I think he's like holding his juice in his mouth, and I don't know why he is doing that lately. Yeah, you're drinking your bottle, you're drinking your juice. I do kind of like the black gloss for, you know, this like very darkish story. Love this gloss, guys. So pretty. And then I'm using my Milani Make It Last setting spray for the first time in years. This is a new bottle. Right, so have you guys enjoyed this kind of like I said, dark story, but also kind of like, it's intriguing because it's the story of a fictional character that gets based on a real person that I think a lot of people actually ended up growing up with Dracula in their lives somehow, whether you watch like Hotel Transylvania or anything like that. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, so like, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell, all that social media great stuff. I'm gonna end it here. I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye, guys.